Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back. It is Bunny Says, and I thought I'd get a quick session in before things start getting noisy again. Hopefully, things remain quiet until I'm finished. But I just wanted to continue where we left off. And I was interested in what was going on. We found out from from a meeting with Parfait and Delora that that our mother was the previous Tannenbaum bearer, that she's a witch, and that we are scheduled to be the next bearer on our 18th birthday. So, and also that there is someone in the castle themselves who is a witch who is using a glamour to hide themselves. So that's interesting right there. And we'll have to see who it is. Let's just continue on right from where we left off. So we're in the hidden passageway along inside the castle. And it says, Rod and I leave the Martian in silence. Here in the secret tunnels we are suffocated under even more silence. But still neither of us makes an effort to speak. I am still stuck inside my own mind, sifting through my troubled thoughts. I cannot reconcile the fact that the wicked witch who had led the witches during the war was my mother. I didn't even realize how many people hated my mother until after she had passed, and they spoke about how cruel a queen she was. Now we got some indication that possibly her mother, Hilda, had altered Lucette's memories and erased some of them, or suppressed some of them, so that she would continue on in the same manner that she had. I never understood why, since she has always been the perfect person in my eyes. Well, that's a problem right there. The way her mother was treating her, she thinks it's perfect. I mean, that's a really skewed point of view, you know? Okay. I never connected my mother with the Tannenbaum bearer, but what Parfait and Delora just told me makes sense. Was I living a lie all these years? A lie that my mother crafted so that I remained cold and bitter even after she passed away? And Delora and Parfait said that I am meant to inherit the power of the Tannenbaum from my mother. I do not want that burden. I almost bump into Rod's back when he suddenly stops walking. He turns around and looks at me with a serious expression. I cannot help but feel judged beneath the weight of that gaze. Excuse me. If you were going to tell me that you never wanted me as your partner because my mother was a witch, then... Rod, I wasn't going to say that. No, he looks very sympathetic, actually. What? Rod, I won't lie. The first time I saw you, I thought you were like your mother. You were cold, harsh, and selfish. I never wanted to have anything to do with you. That was why I was so against this partnership, but you've changed. Oh. Rod's expression softens. As you and M have grown M, his sister, as you and M have grown closer, I have seen that you are not like your mother. She speaks fondly of you, and I could tell she really enjoys your company. That's why, even if I do not have plans to break my curse, I will still do what I can to help break yours. It's the least I can do as your partner. I stare at Rod in shock. This is the first time he has ever been so nice to me. Rod, why are you staring at me like that? I'm only doing this because you're important to my sister. Rod turns away, his face beet red. Sebby. Liar. Rod reaches up to pinch Sebby's face. Ow. That's sort of funny, actually. Sebby, remember Sebby is Sebastian, who's the little rabbit on his shoulder. So now we have a choice here. We could either compliment him or thank him. Well, I think we should flat out thank him. Thank you. Rod turns away, his cheeks dusted pink. It's no big deal. I'm only doing this because I see how dedicated you are to breaking your curse. Because I want to get my old life back. There's Lucette. And now that they have told me about Mother, I want to prove that I am nothing like her. Anyway, I still want to help you with your curse, Rod. Why do you refuse to break it? Rod stares down at his feet, expression melancholy. Because I cannot. Rod stops and shakes his head. He says nothing else, and I do not probe him any more, especially not after seeing the distant look on his face. It's interesting, he keeps saying he can't break his curse. I wonder what. I'm not actually sure what his curse is. Well, okay. We walk through the corridor and back to our rooms after we say our goodbyes. I wonder what Rod was going to say. No, here's a flashback again. Young Lucette and Mother. Young Lucette is talking. Mother, look. Eleanor got me this gift. Eleanor? She's my maid and my friend. Princesses don't make friends with their servants. But she's really nice. She even taught me how to braid my hair like... Those servants are only nice to you because you are the princess. They only pretend to be our friends. So that they can have power over you. But Eleanor would never... What reason do I have to lie to you? When have I ever lied to you, little one? You have never lied to me. That is correct. Tomorrow, I will remedy this situation. I will hire a new maid. You are not to befriend this one, no matter what she says. But Mother, are you arguing with me, Lucette? No, I'm sorry, Mother. Oh, that's sad. At least you didn't allow her to have friends. Or even someone who's nice to her, you know? Even a tiny bit. Okay, we're in the throne room. It has been days since Buffet and Delora revealed my mother's true identity and the inevitable responsibility I am to have on my shoulders once I turn 18. I have been trying to ask the king about Mother, but he is even busier these days than he was before, and it is impossible to find a single moment in the day to speak with him. The fact that I am a maid makes it even harder to garner his attention. When I am not on break, I continue to do my duty serving Emmeline. Right now, I am accompanying her as she practices her walk and posture. Ophelia has been helping her, pointing out any mistakes she finds. Okay, it's Queen Ophelia. I know how hard this is, dear. I had to go through this training as well before I married the king. Emmeline allows her shoulders to slouch as she lets out an exasperated sigh. I've always hated these lessons. I had thought my posture was fine. This is supposed to refine it, and yet all these lessons I've been doing is hurting my back. No, Emmeline, you get the hang of this. You just need to keep practicing. But Mother, I've had the same lesson before. Why must I do it again? Because you slouch when you walk, and that is unbecoming of a princess. Emmeline scowls at her mother, and Ophelia's frown falls away as she bursts into laughter. Mother, you're not helping. The atmosphere in the room is far from heavy, as Emmeline and her mother continue to conduct their lessons. It is almost the exact opposite of the lessons I had with Mother. Mother always got angry when I made even the smallest mistakes. Ophelia, I know this is hard, but as the crown princess, all eyes will be on you during the ball. The people there will judge any small mistake you make, which is why you need to be in top form on that night. I know. Ophelia claps her hands. Alright, now to start again. Emmeline groans before heading to the far wall and straightening her back. Excuse me. She takes a deep breath. Hold on, let me get some water here. Okay, that's better. She takes a deep breath, puts a book on her head. I have to cut that out. Obviously. She takes a deep breath, puts a book on her head, and begins to walk again. The book falls from her head on her third step. She sighs, moves back, and starts the process again. Neither of us break Emmeline's concentration by speaking. We stand idly by and watch as she tries time and time again. I am surprised when Ophelia leans towards me and begins to whisper. Lucette, I've been meaning to say this before, but I am grateful that you are friends with my daughter. I look at Ophelia's smiling face with surprise. I never agreed to be your friend. You were not against the princess making friends with her servants? Why would I be? I actually wish more of the staff here wouldn't be so uptight, since I would love for Emmeline to be on good terms with the people who serve her. Besides, social status is never an obstacle to friendship. Ophelia shifts her gaze back to Emmeline, who is now picking up the book that has once again fallen from her head. No matter your occupation or status, a friend is always a friend. You've given Emmeline the courage she needs to face the many challenges she has ahead of her. In a way, you're like family, since you're always around us. Like family. Come what may, both family and friends are there for you and will accept you for who you are. Even before I was cursed, Emmeline was always trying to be my friend. That means she knew all along who my mother was, and yet still wanted to be my friend. The thought makes me remember what Parfait told me about Mother threatening to kill Ophelia if the king did not marry her. I turned to Ophelia, curious. Oh yeah, as an aside, that's right, I remember Parfait said that Hilda forced the king to marry her and threatened to kill Ophelia if he didn't, so... Your Majesty, may I ask what you know about the late Queen's rule? Ophelia looks at me quizzically, so I quickly add a thoughtless lie. I was not an Engel, and I've only heard stories. I just thought it was so hard to believe, what with how peaceful things are in the palace right now. The kingdom was a dark place back then. People lived in fear under her rule. The king had no real power over Engel. The witches had free reign over the kingdom. They cast a fairy tale curse incessantly and on a whim. We barely left our houses in fear of becoming cursed. Mother's reign was that terrible? The king still blames himself for the darkness that befell Engel during that time. This is why he works day in and out to stabilize the country and to put smiles on everyone's faces. I remember long ago how he told me one of the reasons he would always continue to work hard for the kingdom was because he wanted to make a brighter tomorrow for his children. Ophelia looks confused for a few moments, then brushes off the awkwardness with a small chuckle. Oh yeah, that's right. The curse. Oh, it was the curse. She suddenly remembered for a second, then forgot again. That Lucette, was the daughter. Was the actual daughter. He helps the family in his own way. Is it possible that he said that with me in mind? And Ophelia's slip-up. But then, maybe he was always referring to Emmeline and Rod. Ophelia, the kingdom's come a long way since then, hasn't it? There are still witches here and there, but most of them don't bother others. I pray that the peace we are experiencing right now will last. I see. Thank you for telling me. Ophelia, it is a bit of a dreary topic, but I'm happy to have helped. If you need anything else, please don't hesitate to call on me. I know it may not be a traditional protocol for a queen, but then I do not consider myself a typical queen. I try my best to listen to everyone here, regardless of what their title or name might be. I can only nod at her in response. Princess Ahmed, the way Ophelia has treated me has never changed. She has always treated me with kindness, regardless of who I am. I never saw it before, but because I was always so distant from everyone. But now, I see that Ophelia treats everyone here with kindness, regardless of social status. I was always frustrated by the servants when they compared Ophelia to Mother, saying she was superior. But now, I think I understand why they would make such comparisons. Yeah, no kidding. Okay, anyway. We're back in the palace hallways, and it looks like it's evening. Emmeline dismisses me after my lessons, and I begin to head immediately back to my room. I have just turned the corner when I notice Sir Alcaster standing before me, scowling. This isn't going to turn out good. Alcaster, watch where you're going, child. I quickly avert my gaze, not wanting a confrontation. He always looks at me so strangely, almost like he can see into my mind. Or is he trying to? My apologies, Sir Alcaster. Sir Alcaster nods his head at me stiffly before walking off. You are pardoned, Princess. Oh, he does. He knows. He called her Princess. He knows she's the princess. No, don't say anything. Just run off. I turn to stare after him, but he has already turned the corner. My blood becomes cold. Was that just a slip of the tongue? But how else could he know that I am the princess? Is it possible that he is cursed? No, somehow that does not seem right. But if he does not have the fairy tale curse, could he be the witch that Delora warned me about? What reason would he have for unveiling his identity then? Unless he just wants to intimidate me further. Yeah. It occurs to me that Fritz still remembers who I am. Did he tell his father about me? Now I am even more confused about who I should trust. Whom I should trust. Okay, Rod's here. Lucette? I jump when I hear Rod call me. His expression slowly creases with something that looks like worry. You're pale. Did something happen? Would he believe me if I told him? No, we have a choice. Do not tell him or tell him. I'm gonna tell him. He'll believe me. He knows everything that's going on, so tell him. Okay. Sir Alcaster knows I am the princess. Do you think he is the witch Delora was talking about? I whisper the words to him and he responds by raising his eyebrows, looking surprised. What makes you say that? This isn't just because of the standoffish way he acts, is it? You don't believe me. Rod sighs. I never said that I didn't. It's just that we can't just blindly accuse anyone without any real proof. Well, he just called me princess, so, Tell him that. Rod stares at me for a few moments, then closes his eyes. His eyebrows slightly furrowed with thought. Sir Fitzgerald also remembers who you are. I do not want to be so suspicious of Fritz, but I don't think blindly trusting him would be right either, given these circumstances. Rod, you need to stay vigilant around him. If anything happens, you can come talk to me about it. Well, I just did, and you blew me off. So, Lucette, you worried about me? Rod averts his gaze from me. Of course I am. Sebi. Why, you're actually being honest. Okay. What? Rod glares at Sebi before pinching his cheek. Anyway, I must leave now. I have a dance to practice for. He said, Dance? But you already know how to dance. What do you have left to practice? Rod does not answer and only walks away. I decide to follow after him. Oh, okay. We're in the throne room. Why did you follow me? I shrug. I wanted to see you practice. To be honest, I want to see him dance. I already know that Emmeline is very clumsy when it comes to dancing, but Outside of the one practice with Emmeline, I have never seen Rod dance. Emmeline always gloats on his behalf, but I have yet to witness Rod's supposed talent with my own eyes. Our dance together was so short, I barely had any time to judge him. I do not practice with an audience. Why? It's my preference. Sebi. Rod is easily embarrassed. Rod groans and pinches one of Sebi's cheeks, glowering. Sorry. Rod reluctantly releases the bunny with a sigh. Lucette. I notice you have been talking more lately, Sebi. Oh, that's because Rod here has been saying things that contradict what he thinks or feels. Oh, okay. Sebi makes a sound of defeat as Rod once again pinches one of his cheeks. Is that part of the curse, that the rabbit will say what he really is thinking or feeling or something? So if he lies or if he tries to say something else, the rabbit will tell the truth? Maybe? I don't know. Rod stares at me with wide eyes, and I stare back, beginning to panic. What's wrong? He smiled again. I put my hand to my mouth, flushing. I was smiling again? I never even noticed. It was a pretty smile, Princess. Right, Rod? That was Sebi. Rod quickly turns away, cheeks slightly pink. I need to practice now, so I would appreciate you leaving. He did not even command me to leave. What a surprise. Emmeline said you were a really good dancer. I want to see it with my own eyes. Why, so you can judge me? Okay, so we have a choice here. I am not here to judge you, or I am sure that I am a better dancer than you. Oh, great. Okay. I don't think she's here to judge him. Well, actually, you know what? She actually is here to judge him. She wants to see how good he is. That's judging him. She wants to, not in a mean way, not in a malicious way, but she wants to judge how good a dancer he is. But let's try to be tactful and say, I am not here to judge you. I don't want to say, obviously I don't want to say I am a better dancer than you. Well, you know, maybe if she says that, maybe he'll be like, oh yeah, and show her, you know. But okay, well, I'm not here to judge him. Well, I am, but yeah, see, he's saying it. Why else would you be so keen on watching me then? Watching me. I am mostly curious. Curious? I wanted to know how good you really were. Then yes, you are judging me. Yeah, see, I knew. Yeah. I hold up my hand and he stares, looking taken aback. I should not be scolded for only being curious. Why not just one little dance to prove how talented you are? Rod stares at me for a few minutes before reluctantly taking my hand. Oh, she's going to dance with him. Okay. Fine. You better not step on my feet. Okay, that's going to be interesting. Rod starts leading the dance. He glides us into the imaginary rhythm of a waltz. Even without the music, I am able to count the steps in my head as I follow his lead. This is different from that short dance we showed Emmeline. Rod's movements are graceful, his touch gentle as he leads me to an underarm twirl. Oh, nice picture. Rod is staring straight into her eyes. or into Lucette's face. When I come to face him once again, I notice the gentle way he stares at me. The usual hardness of his expression is gone, melted into something relaxed. I find myself staring back at him, looking into his eyes. Perhaps Rod does have some gentleness to him. Our gaze does not break as he twirls me. Rod, you have beautiful eyes. Really, from the picture I was actually looking at Rod's eyes, the color there were the sort of aqua blue color, sort of a sea green. That's really striking. Rod's eyes widen as soon as mine do. He abruptly lets go of my hands and steps back. I can only stare at him, my face warm. Sebi, it wasn't me this time. That was more than just a thought, I swear. Rod says nothing, though his cheeks continue to darken with embarrassment. Emmeline? Oh, okay. Emmeline's here. Oh my. Rod and I turn to look at Emmeline, who is hovering by the door. Rod, excuse me. Rod quickly walks through the doorway and out into the hallway, leaving Emmeline and I alone in the room. What just happened? That's Lucette thinking. Emmeline, that was a wonderful dance, Lucette. You were watching? I only just saw the last few minutes, but, you know, the two of you really did look like a couple. It was sweet. A couple? Oh, you're blushing. I put a hand to my cheek and turn away with a scowl. I am not. Besides, whatever just happened was embarrassing. Emmeline, do you like Rod? I stare at her. I do not. Also, you are forgetting that I am a maid who could not be with a prince even if I wanted to. He's grumpy and cold. Even though we are not blood related, he's still my stepbrother. If only Emmeline realized how crazy her words were in the light of the truth. Emmeline suddenly looks starry-eyed as she giggles at me. Love knows no boundaries, dear Lucette. Besides, he seems to like you. Your brother hates me. Rod can be a contradiction sometimes. Sometimes he says the opposite of what he feels. It's only when you get to know him as well as I do that you realize what his truths are. I cannot help but think of Sebi, who always speaks Rod's thoughts aloud when they are contradictory. Emmeline, he was always so mean to Viorica when we were young. He would always bully her for being a crybaby, even though he cried far more often. But then I realized that he treated her more special than he did anyone else. Back then, I knew that he liked her. I thought that one day the two of them might even grow to love each other, but... Emmeline lets out a long sigh as she directs her attention out the window. His attitude toward her has changed ever since he was cursed. Then they grew even more distant when Viorica found a lover. Is that the reason why you have been going to the toy shop with Prince Rod? Because you want to bring them back together? Emmeline nods. The three of us were best friends. The Three Musketeers. It's not the same without Rod. I keep on asking him what's wrong, but he refuses to tell me. He's always been stubborn, but it's not like him to keep secrets. It's really frustrating because I have no idea what I should do to help him. I thought he was just being stubborn with me, but apparently no amount of prodding, even from his own family, will make him budge. Why is he being so difficult? I hope you do not mind me asking, but what do you know about his curse? Emmeline stares at me for a few moments before nodding. You're my friend, Lucette, and I know that I can confide in you. I know that sometimes I am not trusting enough, but I think Emmeline is still far too trusting. We only know that he has the mermaid's curse. I've read the story so many times, hoping that I could figure out some way to break his curse. I think back and realize that I had actually read the beginning of The Little Mermaid a long time ago, but I did not have the chance to finish it because I was caught by Mother. The Little Mermaid is about a mermaid who trades her voice for legs, right? Yes, she does it so she can be with her prince. Rod's voice was taken away, but I'm sure he was given something in exchange. I've heard that the curses are derived from the original tales, but they are twisted in some way to fit the format of a curse. I nod slowly, thoughtful. I have a strong feeling that Rod's curse is related to Viorica, but I cannot draw the connection. But still, Viorica might be the key to understanding his curse. If Rod will not divulge anything, the next best chance we have of understanding his curse might be going through Viorica. Okay, Chapter 7. Be careful what you wish for. Okay, we're going to stop here. We're getting on near 40 minutes, so... thank you for coming here and listening again, and, you know what, I think I'll continue on for maybe another file, so... But let me take a break here first, and, I'll be right back. So, please continue, to listen.